branches.
Yeah, exactly. As far as I'm concerned, no tree has a full branch, but I know what you're I know what you're saying. That's aggressive. Japanese culture make Yeah, I was there that night.
Social media now be rather well. Be right before the end of the game. This is absolutely brilliant. watch. We're looking for things to watch, Katie and I. At the end of the day, there's about a 2-hour window of exhaustion when the kids all finally in bed before we think it's really not to go to bed. As you know, we have about 15 minutes. So we do pick up and around the things. We're big fans of
Oh.
He thought he was like
This is BBC Radio. It's midnight.
implementation of the EU as part of a very long historical pattern in which the British appetite for involvement in Europe ebbs and flows. I'm not sure we know now how that relationship evolved in the years to come. It contains the UK's closest trading partners, with whom it shares more than 1,000 years of history. For the EU, the UK is an important security and intelligence ally, a permanent seat on the UN Security Council, and the world's fifth biggest economy. No one can be sure how things will evolve. There is a lot at stake for both sides.
The government has reached an initial agreement with Spain to preserve freedom of movement in and out of Gibraltar. Boris Johnson said the UK was totally committed to protecting the interests of Gibraltar and its British sovereignty. Spain's Foreign Minister, Arantxa González Laya, said they had laid the foundations for a new formal treaty with the EU. Almost half the major hospital trusts in England are said to be dealing with more COVID-19 patients than at the peak of the first wave in April. Almost 56,000 cases were confirmed across the UK in the past 24 hours. That's 964 deaths of people who tested positive. Seriously ill people from Kent have been moved to hospitals in the southwest of England as intensive care units reach capacity. One senior doctor said they were facing a tsunami of cases and warned that anyone who failed to follow social distancing rules during New Year celebrations would have blood on their hands. Our health correspondent Dominic Hughes reports.
Hospitals across London, Essex, Kent and Buckinghamshire are under extreme pressure. A number of intensive care patients from Kent have been moved to Bristol and Plymouth to make use of spare capacity there. One patient from Southend who's on a ventilator is to be airlifted to Cambridge. It's understood the Nightingale Hospital in London is also being readied for use by non-COVID patients. Some hospitals are now cancelling any leave for staff in January. Professor Hugh Montgomery works in intensive care at Whittington Hospital in North London.
That behaviour that might happen over Christmas, we're not going to see that until next week. And if people pay annual leave here, we're not going to get that hitting us until the 8th or 10th of January. Anyone who's listening to this doesn't wear their mask and behaves like this, they haven't got it on their hands. They're spreading this virus. Other people are spreading it. People will die.
The surge in those needing treatment comes as people are being urged to stay at home this New Year's Eve. There are signs that hospitals in northern England had seen demand for what slightly in early December are once again also getting busier. Here it's that a system being under the pressures of staff sickness and an increased number of patients will be completely overwhelmed in January.
The UK's chief medical officers have defended the decision to prioritise giving the first doses of 2 approved coronavirus vaccines to as many people as possible, while delaying the deployment of the second jab. They said the dosing strategy would offer a good level of protection to more vulnerable people in a shorter time frame, warning that vaccine shortages meant pragmatic public health decisions had to be taken. The doctors' union, BMA, had warned that the shift in strategy was a concern to elderly patients and would cause logistical problems at vaccination centres.
The 4 chief medical officers said the rapid spread of the new coronavirus variant placed the UK at a critical point in the pandemic, and the priority now was to protect as many people as possible with the Pfizer and Oxford vaccines. They defended the UK medical regulator's decision to extend the interval between the first and second jabs, delaying the second dose of the vaccine by up to 12 weeks. They said prioritising the first injection would mean twice as many people could be vaccinated in the next months, and a single dose would offer about 70% protection with the Oxford vaccine and 90% with the Pfizer vaccine within 2 to 3 weeks of the injection. But they stressed that a second dose, even delayed, would still be essential for providing longer-term immunity. The medical officers added that global vaccine availability would be an issue in the coming months, and the UK's immunisation strategy had to take this into account.
The leaders of 8 London boroughs have written to the Education Secretary Gavin Williamson, urging him to reverse the decision to reopen schools term. Some areas where schools were restricted to online learning had lower infection rates. Williamson said he's absolutely confident schools in England will be ready to reopen. also worried.
In Watford, 5-year-olds Charlie and Louis, playing on the climbing frame, contemplating more time spent at home. Having only just got used to the idea of holidays ending.
And it might be a bit different when we go back because we've been here at our house before and we've home spending a lot with our family.
So do you want to go back to school?
Yeah.
What would it be like if you couldn't?
It would be kind of strange. Yeah, it'd be strange and boring.
Their primary schools among the 15% that will fully reopen on Monday because it's in a hotspot. It means further childcare challenges for parents like Louise Moore.
The son is in the house, so it's really difficult when you've just got one iPad and it's all on there, and then the little one wants to see what's going on and trying to allocate that time.
Secondary schools are also delaying their return for another week to prepare to test pupils for the virus. Year groups facing exams next summer back first. The Education Secretary Gavin Williamson said they would be ready and that school closures would be as short as possible. The new term in every part of the UK will now start with at least some children learning from home, possibly spending more time on the swings.
Muted New Year celebrations have taken place around the world as many countries continue strict coronavirus restrictions. Here in the UK, the annual fireworks display over the Thames in central London was called off, as was the traditional Hogmanay revelry in Edinburgh. David Harper reports.
Hogmanay is usually a landmark celebration in the Scottish calendar, but in Edinburgh tonight, though, a citywide party has been cancelled, replaced with just a lone piper to welcome in 2021. Sydney's famous Opera House was lit up with fireworks as Australia passed the stroke of midnight. With police keeping the crowds away, the harbour was mostly deserted. Sweden chose to mark the moment in a more sombre way by chiming bells to honour those who had died from COVID-19. In New Zealand, however, with infections largely under control, there were more adventurous celebrations. And in Wuhan, the Chinese city where the pandemic first began, hundreds gathered outside the old Customs House building to watch a cloud of balloons released into the night sky.
The former Scotland, Manchester United and Chelsea manager Tommy Docherty has died. He was 92, suffering from a long-term illness. Our correspondent Andy Swiss looks back at his career.
Known simply as the Doc, Tommy Docherty was one of football's most colourful and charismatic figures. First achieved success as a player, most notably at Preston North End, and won 25 caps for Scotland. But it's as a manager that he'll be best remembered. He won the League Cup with Chelsea before a brief spell in charge of Scotland. But in 1972, he left to become manager of Manchester United. 5 years later, he guided them to the FA Cup, beating the favourites Liverpool in the final. In a statement, Manchester United paid tribute to his thrilling, attacking team, which they said was in the club's best traditions. Tommy Docherty was also famed for his irrepressible wit, one of football's great entertainers.
In the city of the share index ended its last trading session 2020 down 95 points at 6,464, falling almost 1.5%. For the year as a whole, the index fell more than 14%, its worst annual performance since the financial crisis in 2008. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones closed at 97 points at 30,606. On the currency markets, the pound is up 0.3% against the dollar, $1.36.6. Against the euro, sterling is up 0.5% at €1.11.7, making a euro worth 89.5 pence. Now for a first look at the morning papers, and the Daily Telegraph has heard from a government source who said it's entirely possible that schools could remain closed until February. In a New Year article from the Telegraph, the Prime Minister strikes an upbeat tone, saying the EU trade deal and the Oxford COVID vaccine have the potential to be a trampoline for the national bounce back. The Mirror warns that the fight against coronavirus is not yet won, but the vaccine provides a promise for better tomorrow. To smiling again in 2021 is the main headline there. The Times has seen a letter to doctors in which England's Chief Medical Officer Chris Whitty says the shortage of coronavirus vaccines is an issue that cannot be wished away. The Guardian has a warning from University College Hospital London that it's on track to become virtually COVID only because of a surge in coronavirus cases. And up yours 2020 is named the star of describes as a heartfelt message to the worst in living memory. The headlines again. The UK has begun a new chapter in its relationship with the European Union following the end of the Brexit transition period. Boris Johnson has called it an amazing moment, but the government has warned there will be some disruption in the coming days and weeks. Just under half of all major hospital trusts in England are treating more coronavirus patients than at the peak of the first wave of the pandemic. The UK's 4 chief medical officers have backed the decision to delay providing second coronavirus vaccinations so more people can have an initial jab. BBC News.
Read by Corrie Caulfield. Let's have a look at the weather now, and tonight Scotland and Northern Ireland will see patchy rain and hill snow clearing southwards to leave a drier night with the risk of ice in places later. However, wintry showers will continue to feed into northern Scotland through the night, with further accumulations of snow, especially on the hills. Northern England and North Wales will see patchy rain and snow, mainly over higher ground. Central and southern England and southern Wales will remain largely dry and cold, with frost and freezing fog in places, and the chance of icy stretches, especially across Cornwall and Devon, where earlier showers have fallen. Temperatures will fall below freezing again for many, lowest across the south of Britain, where skies clearest, from -4 to -5 in sheltered spots. It'll be a little less cold near coasts and under the band of cloud and patchy rain. New Year's Day then, and it will be another cold day for all areas, with a light northerly breeze, strongest across northern Scotland, where further wintry showers will bring more snow to the hills. A few showers may also affect the north coast of Northern Ireland too. However, away from northern coasts and most of Scotland and Northern Ireland, we should see a bright day and a dry day too, with some sunshine. Much of England and Wales will often be cloudy and chilly, with spots of rain and sleet in places, and the chance of snow mainly over the higher ground. Fog in the south early on should gradually lift through the day, but it may stay rather grey for many. It'll be a cold day for all, with temperatures still below the average, with highs of 3 to 6 Celsius, perhaps 7 or 8 nearer coasts. Into the weekend, and it remains cold both day and night, with overnight frosts and ice in places. By day, many places away from the coast, especially north-facing coasts, will stay dry with some sunshine. On Sunday, winds will start to come in from a more northeasterly direction, which will tend to bring most of the showers to the North Sea coasts, and these will be wintry, especially in hilly areas. And that's the weather. Now, radio for the last of our Christmas stories from around the globe. Alexander Smith. Christmas Compass on the Island is read by
the ability to be thankful for the things for which they needed to be thankful, and none of the neighbouring islands singled them out for criticism, or threatened them, or cast avaricious eyes on their territory or the fine spices it produced. Nor was there much crime, which was why Mr. Anthony had left the island 10 years ago, giving up his position as constable on the island police force when he was 45, and gone to Florida, which was a short flight away, across a stretch of brilliant blue Caribbean. People went to America because that was